What's going on, guys? Super Span here with Julian Mother freaking Sanchez. The Bulls finished the season 40 and 42. They ended up with the ninth seed
The
after that
10th seed.
loss, technically? Okay.
10th seed,
Yeah.
yeah. We're still a 10th seed.
Yeah. They won the first game of the play-in against the Toronto Raptors, but then ended up getting sort of trounced by the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler at the end of the game there. Um, Julian, what are your thoughts on how this season went?
I mean, very disappointing, and the aspect that our the team was way too talented, and the record showed. It's like we have three All-Star caliber players, and we ended up with only 40 wins and a play-in game, a play-in win, not even a playoffs. I just think
Yeah.
like the record, the record is not how this roster should have ended this season. Pretty much, like we have three All-Star players. What the
Yeah.
hell? What the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah. That's been the thing throughout this entire this roster's tenure. Um they have a super talented roster, as you mentioned. I mean, Zach LaVine, he started off the year pretty rocky, but then he sort of came into his own and started playing like Zach LaVine. Uh, you know, Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The glaring issue being the fact that we didn't really have a point guard all season. Uh, they obviously ended up picking up Patrick Beverly, and I felt he was a good addition, finishing 14-9 there when we ended up picking him up. But it was very evident that we were missing Lonzo Ball very much. Just his spacing. He was a great 3-point shooter, great defender, solid rebounder, his pacing, playmaking, everything. I mean, it was just very like we missed it so much. And that was very evident.
Yeah, just a floor general just a floor general is what the Bulls needed. Someone that
Mm.
gave to give Zach easy shots, to give DeMar easy shots, just for someone to feed Vooch in the post. That's been another
Yeah.
thing this whole season. The man can get you a double double every night, and yet somehow they just like to skew away from that game plan. Like it's to me, okay. I'm about to get a little bit real right now.
Mm.
Zach and DeMar, I feel like just shut out Coach Donovan. Like they got a certain game plan going in, and if that like kind of breaks down, it's either Zach or DeMar going ISO ball and just saying, "Forget the game plan. I'm gonna get this bucket." Which it
Yeah.
works sometimes. It works sometimes. Like I don't get me wrong, it's not like it doesn't work, but at the end of the day, it's like you gotta run coach's stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's on the players to want to run coach's game plan or just all that. They got to buy in, and I feel like Zach and DeMar just don't buy into Billy Donovan.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great point. The entire year, um, as you sort of mentioned there, it was just one person taking a turn trying to take over, and then the other person trying to take over. And that's not how you win games. And you
No.
saw throughout the entire year, uh, this is sort of a different point. Anytime they sort of ran it through Vooch, it felt more fluid. Like it felt like the offense was more of an NBA level offense and not just like, hey, let's act like we're playing 32 when you've got 30 points at the YMCA there, and just chuck up a random shot and stuff. Zach Levine's just his shooting decision, whatever. Um, it was, it was just it was really bad at times. I mean, you saw that a lot, but later in the season there he really took off, but he still had a lot of his issues in terms of turning the ball over, playing hero ball a little bit too much. DeMar had a great season. He was an all-star, obviously. Um, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the issues here were like just stemming from not having a point guard that sort of just monitors the entire thing and just takes over and just play makes. Like you run the offense through him because obviously, for some reason or another, they didn't want to run the offense through Vooch, the players, I mean, at least. So I don't know. That was pretty annoying to see because and I mean there were a ton of times where Vooch has like mismatches in the post and they don't throw it down to him. They'll take a crazy shot or something like that. Or, one possession Vooch will make a phenomenal play and get us a bucket, and then the next possession Zach or DeMar or somebody else is taking a shot and just completely disregarding Vooch. I'm not saying to run everything through Vooch the entirety of the game because obviously teams are going to catch up to that. That may not work every time, but I mean, Vooch is a great player. I feel like he's extremely underrated. He's a two-time All-Star for a reason. I would hate to see him go in free agency here, but I mean, Zach LaVine even just said recently that he wants to see Vooch back on the team, but who knows if that's going to happen?
Yeah, yeah, because he want he's getting up there in age, and then on top of that, he wants to win. So I mean, I've said it before, like he's gone. In my opinion, he's
Yeah.
gone. Like as much as I would love to have him on the team. I mean, once he said champion a chance to win a championship and team fit, it's like all right, it's a foregone conclusion, and he might be out of here in free agency. And the sad part is about that is that the Bulls are still over the salary cap, even with him leaving the Chicago Bulls, which is I don't
Mhm.
know how AK is gonna handle the whole cap situation because in order to improve this team, you need cap space. But he's planning on at least bringing back Kobe, which is a no-brainer in my opinion. You
Yeah.
need to keep Kobe. You need to keep the guy. You need to keep your homegrown talent. Like we've been burned already. Look at Lowry Market.
Yeah.
I'm only going to say Larry Martin because Bulls fans love to say Wendell Carter, but what has Wendell Carter done?
Oh, yeah. That's a great point. I could talk on and on about El Carter and how like don't get me wrong, he's a great player, but well, he's a good player. I'll stop. I won't say great. He's a good player. Um, but I feel like I'm not going to be, at least at this point, super upset that we ended up trading him. I'm upset about trading the picks, but more so I'm talking about I'm not that upset about trading Wendell Carter for Vooch. I feel like we would be in very similar situations, if not a worse situation, if we were to keep Wendell Carter and have the same roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just to like piggyback on what you said about the draft picks. I mean, yeah, we gave up picks, but I'm not gonna get too mad over trading the Orlando pick because when has Orlando ever hit on their draft picks?
Right. Except I mean,
Right.
obviously, except for like
Right.
Paulo Bonquer.
Yeah, but that's a
That's
given. That's a
obvious.
given right there.
That's
That's a given.
obvious.
But like Orlando prior to the Vooch trade, how many draft picks have they hit on?
Shoot, I don't even
Right. So the
couldn't
Bulls are
tell
gonna
you.
Bulls fans are gonna be so heartbroken over the one pick the Orlando Magic finally hit on. Like the one Franz
Okay.
Wagner, right? Or is that his name?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
like okay, cool. The player probably landed on their lap to begin with because if you see draft history, Orlando hasn't picked anyone good since Dwight.
Yeah, right. And that's another just given right there. I
Right.
mean, the
Right.
number one pick, and there's always a consensus number one kind of guy, whether people, want to admit it or not. I mean, I know with the Paolo Banchero, there was like rumors that they could have taken somebody else number one, but that come on, you're not gonna pass up on a guy like that.
Right.
Never.
Exactly. And for Bulls fans to be like, "Oh, the Bulls got fleeced. The Bulls got fleeced." Like, I mean, if the Bulls got fleeced, then so be it. But they got fleeced by a team that never hit on their draft picks, and now they hit on the one draft pick that we give them.
Right.
So
That,
I'm not, I don't harp too much on the Vooch trade because, like I said, it's Orlando. When did they ever hit on a draft pick? Oh, okay.
yeah.
They hit one draft pick And it's the one time we give them the first round pick.
Yeah.
Because watch, if the Bulls pick lands out of the top five, I guarantee you they're gonna miss on that draft pick. They'll probably draft somebody really not terrible, but like one that's all hype but never pans out.
They'll probably draft me or
You know,
something, or
Magic
you.
basketball.
They'll probably draft you or me or something. I don't know. Be like, oh, we saw you play at the YMCA or something like that. We're gonna take a chance on you.
They'll draft Julian Newman.
Yeah. That's a name drop right there. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. But yeah, another thing I wanted to really touch on. Um, we've had debates about this all year, but the fact that they didn't add any shooting. Now, you made a great point constantly that, we really couldn't do much. You didn't want to overpay people. You didn't want to give up too much in the trade deadline. Um, but I just always feel like it's so hard to believe that there was absolutely nothing available. I
I mean,
don't know, like,
I believe it, especially if they don't have money to work with.
yeah,
Like I believe it. I mean, it had to have blown the Bulls away if like I don't know, like say if let's say the Brooklyn Nets wanted to play ball with Kyrie Irving. Like I think that's the more realistic draft, not draft trade option the Bulls would have had because they couldn't get KD. Even if they
yeah,
tried, I don't think they could have gotten KD. But
no way.
Kyrie would have been the realistic one. But in my opinion, they would have had to gut the team too much to where it's only Kyrie, Zach, DeMar, and Vooch, and that's it. Like who else?
Yeah.
We give away Patrick Williams, Kobe White, and uh, they don't have a draft pick. So, I mean, good. It was a good decision, in my opinion, to not do anything. Because if there's nothing there, then why the hell would you want to gut your team for nothing? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense, it's not like I don't know, like, because if they were to trade for, like, imagine if they traded a bunch of players or, like, a couple guys even for a guy like freaking Duncan Robinson, you know? Like, that would've been awful. Like, because his contract is
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah. That's
So,
a
I mean,
horrible
there's no
contract.
way. But, like, yeah, that is a good point. It's like I was definitely one of those people like, man, like we couldn't do anything, but it's like, really? I mean, I don't know. Like, is it worth giving up a guy like Kobe White or Patrick Williams to get even a good role player that's like, I don't know, in his 30s or pushing 30? And, we know what he's going to be. We don't exactly know what Kobe White or Patrick Williams is going to be. Um, Kobe White had a great year, I would say. I mean, not like he didn't like push the bar in terms of scoring or anything like that. But I mean, he came back to his shooting roots. He got better at that. Um, his playmaking seemed to be better, like the ball handling and all that, and his defense took a big leap. Like that was so nice to see. He was so fun to watch. Um, totally justifying potentially re-signing him here. And we touched on that just a little bit earlier. I think, like you said, no brainer to re-sign him.
Of course, man. We need all the offensive help we can get, especially with Kobe, man. Like, holy crap, he was shooting the lights out these last few weeks.
Yeah.
The last month of the season. I mean, that's a really good way to go into like next season with momentum. And he actually has an off season where he gets to work on his skills, not rehab. Because I think he went
Yeah.
through 2 off seasons rehabbing.
Yeah. Like the Bulls, so I don't know if you noticed this, but when Kobe White was heating up against Miami, no pun intended, um Billy Donovan ended up taking him out in the fourth quarter there. I feel like if we were to have kept Kobe in, I mean, maybe we would have still lost because Jimmy Butler is freaking insane, you know. But I feel like we would have had a lot better of a chance to win if Kobe was in there because his scoring was great that game. He was shooting well. I mean, like I said, he's a good defensive presence. I really don't know why you take him out and bring in Patrick Beverly. Like, I understand the defensive aspect because P-Bev is a better defender despite the improvements Kobe White has had in that end. But Kobe White severely outplays Patrick Beverly in terms of offensive productivity, really.
Man, not only just Kobe White, but Andre Drummond too. Andre
Yeah.
Drummond was getting them rebounds.
Oh, yeah.
And once they put in Vooch, it's like, Vooch, what are you doing, man? Get a rebound, do something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like the whole coaching staff in general needs to reevaluate themselves because they
Yeah.
signed Billy D to that contract prior to this season starting. So they're with Billy Donovan for like 3 years now. So the
Yeah.
coaching staff they need to really step up because they dropped the ball this season. In my opinion, they
Yeah.
really dropped the ball. Like you have three all stars, you have young guys out there ready to tear shit up. You know, you got Kobe White shooting the lights out. You got
Mhm.
Patrick Williams just needs that little extra push to
Yeah.
get to like really unlock his potential. I feel like this coaching staff is just not doing it. I feel like they're coddling too much to the superstar players we got in our team, as opposed to
Absolutely.
just making everybody play as one. You know, because they always look so discombobulated out there. It's like the
Yeah.
big three are just not playing together.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I mean, I kind of wanted to ask you, like, what do you think we should do this offseason in terms of the big three? Should we sign and trade Vooch? Should we focus on trading either Zach or DeMar? What do you think like the move is this offseason? Because it's a huge offseason if you ask me.
Well, honestly, it all hinges on the draft. Because
Yeah.
call me crazy, two things might happen. Two things might happen with
Hmm.
that 1.8% chance. Let's say the Bulls hit. Oh, the Bulls got the number one pick. Let's go. You know,
Yeah.
let's do this. Two things could happen. One, would you run the same roster back, only you'd be adding Wembayana?
Mhm.
Or two, trade everybody. Get rid of, let Vooch walk. Get rid of Zach and DeMar. Might get some hefty picks and assets for them too. And just re-sign Kobe and build around Patrick Williams and Wembayana.
Yeah. I know we talked about this. That so
That's a pipe
if
dream,
we
but I'm just saying, like, you can't. It's not impossible because that's how we got Derrick Rose.
I was
It's
just
not
gonna say
impossible.
pipe dreams
It's
have
not
happened
impossible.
before.
Right. It's not impossible. All right.
Yeah. I would totally trade everybody, like except for Kobe, P. Will.
You keep all
Um,
the young guys. You keep all the young
yeah.
guys. You know,
Imagine the assets. We could get.
and like Derrick Jones Jr. and Javante Green, because you need guys like that on your bench. You know, you need high energy guys, especially if
Yeah.
they're gonna run with the young guys. If the Bulls are just gonna go full on Wemby mode, woo,
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, like imagine all the assets we could get if we were to trade Zach. I mean, I'm sorry, and this is purely entertaining the fact that if we
right,
get Wembanyama,
right.
if
There's
we were to
nothing.
get Wemby, we would trade. We would have to. I mean, we wouldn't have to trade Zach, but it's like the timeline doesn't really match there. And you really have to build around Wembanyama. You have to trade the assets, or trade Zach Levine, trade DeMar, do a sign and trade with Vooch or just let him walk. Cause I mean, who cares at that point if you get Wemby?
Right.
Um, and you'd be able to get some draft picks, and then you'd even be able to get a draft pick or two for Caruso. We saw that during the trade deadline this
Yeah,
season.
two first round picks for Caruso, and nobody wanted that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe you got to lower the price a little bit there, maybe. But I mean, still
No, but
shop
the Bulls
around,
didn't want to
say,
get rid of him. They said that only because they didn't want to get rid of him.
okay,
You have
yeah,
to be
that's
a
fair
very
then.
desperate team or a very dumb team to want to give up two first round picks for Caruso.
Yeah.
Which it would have been our game. Like, all right, sorry, Caruso, but hey, we got two first round picks for you.
Yeah, exactly.
For a
Right.
team that freaking needs it too. Like, I don't think the Bulls have their own first round pick for another 2 years or
Oh
3 years, maybe.
God.
So
That's
yeah, because
you-
our Next year's pick is ours, I think. I think next year's
Oh,
pick.
I think you're right. I think you are right.
Either that or it goes to San Antonio.
Yeah. So we got 4.5 minutes left here. Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
if
well,
we were,
let's spend those last 4 minutes on the more realistic scenario that might happen for the Bulls,
yeah,
which is everybody just comes back. You know, maybe minus Vooch. Like
yeah,
we'll go with like two scenarios, one without Vooch and one with Vooch. You know, one with Vooch, obviously you just run it back and try to figure out the shooting and the point guard situation. That's all. That's all it really comes down to, because
right.
they can't really do much without Lonzo unless
Yeah.
like unless like that injury results in the Bulls like being able to release him.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's the what is it? The disabled player exception or something like that.
right,
I mean, there was talk that he could potentially miss the entirety of the 23-24 season.
they just
Um,
yeah Bulls management just flat out said like yeah he's gonna miss next season, so that way there's like no question about like oh is he coming back like nah
that
no
that is just so like disheartening. Like, because I mean, not only as like a Bulls fan or a basketball fan, but it's like, dude, like he has all the talent in the world and just cannot stay healthy. Like even worse than Anthony Davis. Like, you know what I
At least
mean?
Anthony Davis is playing, man. That's
Right.
the thing. Like he's been injury prone, but at least he got him a ring.
Yeah,
So that was
right.
that.
Yeah, I don't know. Cuz okay, you know you're going into the season without Lonzo for pretty much the entire year.
Mhm.
I'm still holding out hope, but I highly doubt it. If they said
Yeah,
that
just
he's out
erase
for the
Lonzo Ball from your head and
yeah.
go into 23-24 season knowing that he's not coming back. The Bulls got to figure out the point guard situation.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, the shooting. They need to get shooting going on there, or at least like have the rest of the Bulls team just shoot the whole summer. Because gosh,
Yeah.
man, like even when the Bulls were wide open, they were still missing open threes.
Yeah. I mean, this team is we've said it before, I'll say it again. It's a good team on paper. It's just we have our glaring weaknesses, like we mentioned just now, and we mentioned a million times, the point guard issue, the shooting issue. Do you re-sign Patrick Beverly? I don't know. I really don't know. It depends on his price. I feel like he's going to use the whole like, oh, look how we played after to drive up his price, not just with the Bulls, but with any team that he interviews with. So, I mean, I don't know. It's certainly going to be like either interesting or just completely like another dull off season, who knows? Who knows what they can do with with this roster. If you can move some pieces and bring back a couple good role players and maybe a pick or two, I'd be happy with that. If you could get a shooter and you don't have to completely blow it up. I don't know. We don't know how this is going to work out because let's say you do that, you keep like Zach, and then you just get, trade DeMar for a couple role players, and then you come back in the 24-25 season. Oh, hey, we got Lonzo Ball. Who knows how he's gonna be? It's certainly interesting, but we've got less than a minute here. So I mean, I guess we could just wrap it up here. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Super Span and Julian Sanchez, aka Golden Arms, aka Michael Pena, aka The Weekend. And I'll see you guys next time.